Hello, dearies. Welcome to episode 3 of season 3 of EachPage Flow, or episode 21 of the podcast. I'm Stella, and this episode is dedicated to New Moon, or Twilight Book 2, or the book that almost borders to tears. Or maybe that's just me. First, yes, I know I didn't do a Twilight book chat. And I know I am doing this one right now, but because season 3 is about the sequels and the prequels, then yeah, that's why I decided to go with this one. I felt like chatting about New Moon by Stephanie Meyer, which tells the story of what happened next with Bella and Edward after they were seemingly together and happy at the end of book 1. But if you recall correctly, in book 1, Edward killed a vampire named James, and that was after Bella and his mate, James, Victoria, was of course devastated by that. And that became a gateway sort of into New Moon and later into Eclipse, which is book 3. But today, I'm going to go a little bit into New Moon. And not that much because actually this is one of the second books that I think did not meet up with the reader's expectations. Unlike, let's say, The Chamber of Secrets, that was a book that lived up to, the whole series and gained way to actually more people reading. Not that Twilight didn't. I know it back in the day we like praised the book up and down. Went to see the movies and everything. Of course a fan. I'm not saying they're not, but New Moon truly put my throwing books across the room abilities to test, because I was excited to read New Moon and then I opened the book and I was like, eh? Oh my god, what is this? And it really felt like everything was crashing down and the despair of Bella. I suppose you could say that's great writing because you could actually feel or see or read or whatever everything that she was feeling, but it was too much. It was Bella for all of this book. I don't even remember 60% of it, like doing nothing, like she couldn't breathe, she couldn't do anything. He was, come on, Bella, keep it together. There are other vampires. You can, move on. And I get that is the love of her life, soulmates, whatever. But still, it made you want to read quickly and go to the end of the freaking book, because you knew that Edward was doing it because he wanted to protect her. And it was like, how can she possibly not know that? How can she believe him? Like, when Edward came back, he was obviously surprised that Bella was able to believe him so much. Her insecurities and the way that she almost always believed herself when it came to Edward, like, it's not possible that you like me this much. It's not possible that you want to be with me because of this, because of that. And it was annoying most of the time to read about Bella's way of thinking. I don't know. I guess I could understand it that she might not be the most confident. She was basically a teenager, and her, let's say, maturity was not all there if she was thinking like this, even though she acted like wanted to act older than her age. um all of it was really get on my nerves. at times when she thought about Edward, because she put him on a pedestal like she was the greatest thing in the planet. And to be honest, he was a regular vampire, unlike, I don't know, Carlisle or let's say Jasper, perhaps even Alice. I mean, the other characters did have more depth to them. And I'm not saying I don't like Edward Cullen, because I do. I think when I read the books, I thought he was great. But seeing it years later, and even when I wasn't reading the books, the other characters did call out to me or to many readers more than Edward. But in any case, uh, by the end of the book, after she had basically suicidal thoughts, um, Bella basically wanted to feel the rush of adrenaline and just getting herself in trouble with the whole thing with the motorcycles and then jumping off cliff. She almost died because of all of this, just to see Edward in her imagination. And yeah, that really got on my nerves, to be honest. But you also got to see the other part of the fantasy world of Twilight. And even though they said the werewolves were because of vampires and the spirits in Jacob's ancestors and all of the ramifications through the generations in Jacob's tribe, and how only vampires trigger this gene that they have to become werewolf. I mean, it was a little, let's say, intrigued. And they, they, I mean, Stephanie really gave it like a term. I mean, because they weren't beaten to become werewolves, but it came from a spiritual place, more like. In any case, that's not the issue here, or an issue at all. But the fact that Bella went and got herself further into fantasy and being with the monsters, so to speak, as Alice tells her when she comes back. Because all of the family left because Edward couldn't stand being there after Jasper attacked Bella. And I mean, they took it a little too far and everybody left, and they left Bella alone and unprotected. And that's how, like, most of the book went, with no vampires, with no Collins. And by the end of it, you already wanted to come back because Bella was too much. It was definitely too much to bear. At the end of it, when they went to Italy to rescue Edward, which, if you think about it, Edward and Bella are pretty much the same with their insecurities and with their ways of, if you're not living, I don't want to live in this world anymore. And Edward thought that Bella was gone, everything, that she jumped off a cliff, and he went to the Volturi in Italy to get himself um murdered by them. And so when Bella went there with Alice, because she thought that Edward was feeling so guilty that he wanted to die. I mean, that makes no sense whatsoever. But anyways, when they went to Italy and met the Volturis, and how the real vampires are the ones that are not vegetarians, um, it was sort of eye-opening, but not so much, because it was obvious that that was the other part of how vampires should be in their most basic form, and how they, you know, stick to their original form of humans, of drinking humans' blood and not animals. But in any case, yeah, that's how pretty much the book went. And I talked a lot more than I thought I would be talking about New Moon, with considering that I didn't like them much. To be honest, I wanted to go to book 3 and book 4 and finish everything to see what would happen next with Edward. In the time that the books came out, of course, I was eagerly reading and buying them and wanting to reread them. I did. Eclipse, I reread a couple of times and Breaking Dawn. Eclipse, the one that I reread the most. And yeah, I really did enjoy it. New Moon, I think I read maybe 2 times, or maybe the second time, like to remind myself of some parts. But after I was done with it, I was really done with it. I didn't want to go back to it. I think I've watched the movie more and just because, playing on the background, not because I particularly want to watch the movie. Which, let's not talk about movie versus book because they did skip a lot of stuff of details of vampires. Um, I'm talking about Jasper's gift that they didn't completely explain in the movies, that Jasper could control people's emotions. Yeah, I just remember that. And anyways, yeah, that's all from me. I talk a lot more about New Moon than I originally had foreseen. But have you read New Moon? Have you read the Twilight books? Let me know. And if you like them, or if you are planning to reread them or never read them because of reasons. And yeah, thank you, dearies. Don't forget that you can go to the blog eachpage.org and also read about Twilight. I have one full post about the Twilight series. I have one about Alice specifically, and I have one about Victoria specifically because I wanted to talk about them because I thought they was awesome, these characters. So I have this post on the blog if you want to check it out. Thank you, dearies. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like this one. Thank you. See you on the next one.